Hello. My name is Literary Haley, and I love to talk about books, specifically romance books, where audiobooks are my jam. This past week, something really cool happened over on Book Talk, and that was reading for the Trans Rights Readathon, where we read trans, non-binary, gender-fluid books by trans, non-binary, or gender-fluid authors between March 20th through March 27th. And the goal was to flood Book Talk with these books, especially during a time where the trans community is under attack. During this week, I read 3 books. The first book I read is The Doctor's Discretion by E.E. Ottoman, and this is a historical fiction with a touch of romance that takes place in New York City during the 1800s, specifically 1831. This is a romance between 2 doctors who are coming together to work on a similar project, and while they're working on this project, a patient comes in and this patient's life is at risk, and so these 2 doctors work together to help save the life of this patient. Most of the story is them trying to fly under the radar and help this patient out and continue working on their studies. I did listen to this on audio, and I will always highly recommend an audiobook. The next book I read is The Companion by E.E. Ottoman, and this one is probably my favorite of the books that I've read for the Trans Rights Readathon. This is a polyamorous historical romance that takes place in 20th century New York City between 2 trans women and 1 trans man. This book is literally everything. All of the vibes, everything I could want is in this book. I freaking love this book so much. Despite all of the hardships and struggles that these characters go through individually, they're able to come together and create this safe space to where they can live their lives how they want without outsiders. We've got Madeline, who is just the sweetest, gentlest woman ever. She's never been kissed. And then we've got Victor, and Victor is very spicy. And when he found out that Madeline was as innocent as she was, he of course enlists his help. Oh, you don't know how to kiss? I'll teach you. Fucking great. Then we have Audrey, and Audrey is just pure light. She gathers mushrooms, frolics in the woods, but she's also spicy. And so when Victor and Audrey and Madeline all get together, it's like Madeline becomes a little bit stuck because she doesn't want to choose between Victor or Audrey, and they're like, why? Why choose? That's what I like to hear. Why choose when you could have all? I did this on audio, and I highly recommend. The last book that I read for the Trans Rights Readathon is Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. I did this on audio, and I highly recommend. I loved this book so much. This is a realistic YA romance. And this book, I feel like everybody needs to read this book. So we follow Felix Love, who's never been in love. How ironic, right? But this book also goes through the challenges of growing up and not really knowing your identity, and him working through all of those emotions. And then there's kind of like this revenge plot that comes into it, and he's trying to figure out who's bullying him. Meanwhile, he's dealing with his home life. This one really got me, and just wishing I could jump in the book and hug him and tell him everything was gonna be okay, and that it's okay that we don't know ourselves. And the progression of that and him finally talking to somebody and navigate this was beautiful. And now I'm probably never gonna shut up about this book. Anyways, those are the 3 books that I read during the Trans Rights Readathon. We should be reading these books all year round. We should be supporting these authors all year round, and we should be doing what we can to support our community all year round. And even if it seems so small that you can't change anything, that's what they want us to think. It could be as small as amplifying those voices within that community. That is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.